Good morning, everyone. Mr. Chairman, we are now in the public session. Good morning.
Thank you very much. All right, this July 1, 2026 regular meeting of the Connecticut State Elections Enforcement Commission is called to order. My name is Steve Penny. I chair the commission, and I'd like to welcome you to today's meeting. This meeting is being conducted virtually in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act, which authorizes public agencies to conduct meetings in this format. The meeting is being recorded for on-demand viewing and will be available for at least 45 days. Because of the virtual format of this meeting, there are some special rules and procedures that I need to cover before we begin. First, I ask all participants to mute your device when you are not speaking. Second, all speakers must make a good faith effort to state the speaker's name and title at the outset of each occasion that such speaker participates in the meeting. Third, all votes must be taken by roll call unless the vote is unanimous. With that said, I will ask the other commissioners and the executive director, general counsel to introduce themselves, please.
Commissioner Michael Agello.
Commissioner Shannon Berquist.
Greg Pietzu.
Commissioner Sonia Warrell-Asari.
And Ryan Burns, Executive Director and General Counsel.
Thank you very much. For the record, we do have a quorum of the commission present this morning. And with that, we will proceed with the first matters on our agenda. First item we need to take care of is to entertain a motion to add to today's agenda the grant application of one Kathy Kennedy. Is it moved?
So moved, Pietzu.
Second, Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. Those in favor of the motion of adding this item to the agenda will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing. The motion carries and the matter is added accordingly. Next is approval of minutes. First of those is the minutes of the meeting of June 17, 2026. Are there any additions or corrections to be made to those minutes? None appearing. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
Move, Pietzu.
Second, Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. Those in favor of approving the minutes of June 17, 2026 will raise their hands and or say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I'll
None
abstain,
appearing.
Steve, because I was not at that meeting.
All right. So the motion nevertheless is approved with 3 voting in favor, none opposed, 1 abstention, or 4 voting in favor. Excuse me. My arithmetic is wanting nowadays. 401. All right, next we have on the agenda is approval of the minutes of June 25, 2026. Are there any additions or corrections to be made to those minutes? None appearing. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
Move, Pietzu.
Second, Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. Those in favor of approving the minutes of June 25, 2026 will raise their hands and or say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing. The motion carries with 5 voting in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Next item on the agenda is administrative reports. The Executive Director and General Counsel, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. A few items just to update the commission on. The first is in your supplemental materials, I provided another litigation matter. It was provided to the commission as a notice item only. We certainly can enter an executive session to discuss further, but you will be receiving a more extended recommendation from the enforcement unit regarding this and a matter that you received in your prior packet. So this will not be your only opportunity to engage with that matter. On unrelated litigation matters, there's 2 Supreme Court cases that came down this past week. One is NRSC versus FEC. That is going to allow greater coordination between political parties and candidates. We're examining that case now and trying to look at how that may impact the statutes and regulations under our jurisdiction. Certainly happy to engage with any commissioners either during this meeting or offline if they have any questions on that. In addition, there was the Watson versus RNC case, which did allow states to continue counting absentee ballots that were postmarked by election day but received after that day. So no changes to our laws or how we enforce them is required, but again, relevant to our area of jurisdiction. Today is the first day of our new fiscal year, so I know our fiscal team is rather happy to have that monumental task behind them. We are still actively engaged in preparing for this new fiscal year, but we have gotten over that hump. We have a new temp that started with us this week, Everett Pedro. He's going to help us get through the CEP season, given the kind of uptick in the amount of paperwork we have to process. very happy to have him on board. As I think some of you noticed 2 weeks ago during this meeting and thereafter, several staff participated in the Public Campaign Finance Administrators Conference down in New Haven. It was a really fantastic opportunity for us to collaborate with those around the country that are engaged in our rather niche area of law and administration. So we learned a lot, we developed a lot of networking connections, and hope to leverage those to more effectively execute our mission. We also, in your packet, is this, I'm sorry, Commissioner, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, around the conference that was recently attended, has there ever been an opportunity for the commissioners to participate in such conferences? I'm thinking about when I regulated the former board, we would have conferences that we'd have our commissioners attend. Just curious if there was.
Absolutely. This one was a little more policy wonky, more staff level participation even than agency leadership. But Kogel seems like something that may be more along those lines. There have been commissioners that have attended from other organizations. This year, it being out in Denver and given the timing, I don't think is going to work out as much. But as we plan for future Kogel conferences, certainly something we can explore with the commission. Also, in your supplemental materials, I added the sufficiency of the fund report for the July supplemental, demonstrating what monies may or may not be needed depending on the outcomes of various elections. This is a statutorily required report that came into life along with the increase in the gubernatorial grants. No action by the commission is required at this time. But we will be closely monitoring the status of the fund and providing updates both to the commission and to the legislature as we progress through the season. The last item is currently on your agenda. We have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow. I don't believe that meeting is necessary given the actions that are slated for today. So that is at your discretion to cancel. On the enforcement side, we have 183 cases on our docket, 34 on hold, 49 non-filers, and 105 active complaints, referrals, and SEEC-initiated matters. I think we're going to make a pretty good dent in that today, given the holdovers from 2 weeks ago. So hopefully we'll be able to get those numbers down a bit. There's also 105 awarded grants already out the door. I was looking at some stats from prior years that our clerk was pulled up, and we were about 3 weeks ahead of pace from where we were on prior years, with about a third of our expected grants already out the door. There are also 32 pending applications with 20 on for consideration today and 12 newer continued applications. So with that, happy to take any questions.
Any questions or comments for the Executive Director? Commissioner Pietzo.
Is that sufficiency report something that we would post to the website so the public can also be aware of the status of the CEF?
We certainly can. I think it may raise more questions, and I think there's enough uncertainty about it. I'd rather wait, but certainly is a public document, and we can provide that if that's the will of the commission.
Okay. Or so the public could just request it and get it if they wanted.
Absolutely. It is a public document, and it has been provided to the legislature as required by statute.
Thank you, Mr. Executive Director.
Anyone else? All right, so the next item on our printed agenda is to go into executive session, but it relates to two applications that have now been approved to be acted on today. And so it may not be necessary. Is there a desire by any of the commissioners to go into executive session at this time? None appearing. I think we'll just proceed. Next item on the agenda then is the applications for public grants, and Director Munir, please.
Thank you, Chairman. For the record, Salman Munir, Director of Audit. Item number 1 is Justin for CT 2026, the Justin M. Farmer House, District 92. Committee has reported 253 in contributions, 7,665 in total dollar amount of contributions. Committee has 165 total number of qualified in-district contributions and 7,398 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
All right, are there any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to approve the grant of Justin for CT 2026?
Move Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion to approve the grant will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is approved. Next item is Martin 31.
Martin 31, Henry Martin, Center District 31. Committee has 390 in total number of contributions reported, 22,080 in total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 312 total number of qualified in-district contributions and 20,595 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
All right, any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to approve the grant of Martin 31?
Move Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion to approve the grant will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is approved with 5 voting in favor. Next item on the agenda is Ziemba for state rep.
Ziemba for State Rep Andrew F. Ziemba, House District 17. Committee has 223 total number of contributions reported, 6,961 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 168 total number of qualified and district contributions and 6,821 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
Any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to approve the grant of Ziemba for state rep?
Move Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
And seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is approved with 5 voting in favor. Next item on the agenda is bill for CT.
Bill for CT, William T. Huggins, House District 43. Committee has 208 total number of contributions reported, 6,890 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 168 total number of qualified in-district contributions and 6,740 total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
Any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to approve the grant of bill for CT?
Move Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of approving the grant will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is approved with 5 voting in favor. Next item on the agenda is Kristen McCarthy Vahey, 2026.
Kristen McCarty Vahey, 2026. Kristen McCarty Vahey, House District 133. Committee has 174 total number of contributions reported, 7,375 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 165 total number of qualified in-district contributions and 7,175 total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
All right, are there any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to approve the grant of Kristen McCarthy Vahey, 2026?
Move Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is approved with 5 voting in favor. Next item on the agenda is Ham for State Rep 2026.
Ham for State Rep 2026, Bob Ham, House District 83. Committee has 199 total number of contributions reported, 7,575 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 159 total number of qualified and district contributions and 7,010 total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
All right, any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to approve the grant of Ham for State Rep 2026?
Move Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion to approve the grant will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is approved with 5 voting in favor. Next item on the agenda is Lombard for the 8th.
Lombard for the 8th, Francis Lombard, House District 8. Committee has 193 total number of contributions reported, 8,900 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 159 total number of qualified industry contributions and 8,690 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
All right, are there any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to approve the grant of Lombard for the 8th?
Move Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of approving the grant will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is approved with 5 voting in favor. Next item on the agenda is Meredith Tobich for the 125th.
Meredith Tobich for the 125th, Meredith K. Tobich, House District 125. Committee has 192 total number of contributions reported, 11,444 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 167 total number of qualified industry contributions and 10,120 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
All right, any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to approve the grant of Meredith Tobich for the 125th?
Move Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is approved with 5 voting in favor. Next item on the agenda is NKD 26.
NKD 26, Nicole Clarides Ditria, House District 105. Committee has 182 total number of contributions reported, 7,865 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 154 total number of qualified industry contributions and 7,465 total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
All right, any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to approve the grant of NKD 26?
Move Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of approving the grant will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is approved with 5 voting in favor. Next item on the agenda is committee to re-elect Senator John Kissel.
Committee to re-elect Senator John Kissel, John A. Kissel, Senate District 7. Committee has 427 total number of contributions reported, 20,945 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 297 total number of qualified industry contributions and 20,330 in dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee hasn't met the threshold at this point and is recommended for the continuance.
All right, any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to continue without prejudice the application of committee to re-elect Senator John Kissel?
Move Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of continuing the application without prejudice will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is continued without prejudice with 5 voting in favor. Kevin Brown for Vernon is the next item.
Kevin Brown for Vernon, Kevin P. Brown, House District 56. Committee has 189 total number of contributions reported, 6,965 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 149 total number of qualified industry contributions and 6,785 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee hasn't met the threshold at this point and recommended to be continued.
All right, is there any question or comment for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to continue without prejudice the application of Kevin Brown for Vernon?
Move Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of continuing this application without prejudice will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is continued without prejudice with 5 voting in favor. Next item is Leland for CT.
Leland for CT, Leland J. Moore, House District 97. Committee has 204 total number of contributions reported, 7,530 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 174 total number of qualified in-district contributions and 7,305 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
All right, any questions or comments for the director? None appearing. Is there a motion to approve the grant of Leland for CT?
Move Pietzu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. Those in favor of approving the grant will raise their hands and or say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing. The grant is approved accordingly with 5 voting in favor. Next item is Tochi for CT.
Tochi for CT, Winston A. Tochi, House District 52. Committee has 204 total number of contributions reported, 7,703 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 148 total number of qualified in-district contributions and 6,693 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee hasn't met the threshold at this point. Recommend it to be continued.
All right, any questions or comments for the director? None appearing. Is there a motion to continue without prejudice the application of Tochi for CT?
Move Pietzu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. Those in favor of continuing this application without prejudice will raise their hands and or say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing. The grant application is continued without prejudice with 5 voting in favor. Ann Santoro for the 37th.
And Santoro for the 37th. And R. Santoro, House District 37. Committee has 191 total number of contributions reported, 10,325 in total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 163 total number of qualified and district contributions and 10,040 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
All right, any questions or comments for the director? None appearing. Is there a motion to approve the grant of Ann Santoro for the 37th?
Move Pietzu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. Those in favor of the motion to approve the grant of Ann Santoro for the 37th will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing. The grant is approved with 5 voting in favor. Next item is Bermudez for NH.
Bermudez for NH, Vildelis Bermudez, House District 97. Committee has 237 in total number of contributions reported, 7,280 in total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 196 in total number of qualified in-district contributions and 7,054 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold, but is addressing a financial statement reconciliation and therefore recommended to be continued until this is resolved.
All right, any questions or comments for the director? None appearing. Is there a motion to continue without prejudice the application of Bermudez for NH?
Move Pietzu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. Those in favor of continuing this grant application without prejudice will raise their hands and or say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing. The grant is continued without prejudice with 5 voting in favor. Citizens for Rick 59th.
Citizens for Rick 59. Richard Lebreus, House District 59. Committee has 195 total number of contributions reported, 7,064 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 159 total number of qualified in-district contributions and 6,879 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
All right, are there any questions or comments for the director? None appearing. Is there a motion to approve the grant of the Citizens for Rick 59th?
Move Pietzu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. Those in favor of approving the grant of Citizens for Rick 59th will raise their hands and or say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing. The grant is approved with 5 voting in favor. Next item on the agenda is Faith 2026 for the 75th.
Faith 2026 for the 75th. Faithfully Goplowski, House District 75. Committee has 205 in total number of contributions reported, 6,955 in total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 151 total number of qualified in-district contributions and 6,315 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee hasn't met the threshold at this point and recommended to be continued.
Any questions or comments for the director? Then appearing with respect to Faith 2026 for the 75th, is there a motion to continue that application without prejudice?
Move Pietzu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion to continue this grant application without prejudice will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is continued without prejudice with 5 voting in favor. Next item is Rizzo 2026.
Rizzo 2026, Deborah K. Rizzo, House District 2. Committee has 206 in total number of contributions reported, 7,514 in total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 156 in total number of qualified and district contributions and 7,404 total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold recommended for the grant approval.
All right, any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to approve the grant of Rizzo 2026?
Move Pietzu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of approving the grant will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is approved with 5 voting in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Next item on the agenda is Josh for CT.
Josh for CT, Joshua Elliott for governor. Total number of contributions the committee raised was 371,161 and 74. Total amount of qualified aggregate contributions are 333,507 and 74. At this point, committee hasn't met the threshold, recommended to be continued.
All right, any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to continue without prejudice the grant application of Josh for CT?
Move Pietzu.
Second Berquist.
Been seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion to continue this grant application will raise their hands and or say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the grant application is continued with 5 voting in favor. All right, we now have 2 applications that had previously been continued. They are now ready for decision. First of those is Canino for Torrington 2026.
Canino for Torrington 2026, Joseph C. Canino, House District 65. Committee has 201 total number of contributions reported, 7,171 in total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 156 total number of qualified and district contributions and 7,076 total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold, recommended for the grant approval.
Any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to approve the grant application of Canino for Torrington 2026?
Move Pietzu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion to approve will raise their hands and or say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is approved with 5 voting in favor. Last item on the agenda is Kathy Kennedy for the 119th.
Kathy Kennedy for the 119th. Kathy Kennedy, House District 119. Committee has 176 total number of contributions reported, 7,054 total dollar amount of contributions reported. Committee has 155 total number of qualified and district contributions and 6,729 in total dollar amount of qualified contributions. Committee has met the threshold, recommended for the grant approval.
All right, any questions or comments for the director? None appearing, is there a motion to approve the grant of Kathy Kennedy for the 119th?
Move Pietzu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of approving the grant will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the grant is approved with 5 voting in favor. All right. Next item on the agenda are pending complaints, investigations, and audits. First item in that category is file number 2025-060A. Attorney Smith, please.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Attorney William Smith for the commission. Before you is file number 2025-060A. This was in the matter of an SEEC campaign disclosure and audit unit referral for the committee re-elect Trenny McGee. In this instance, the committee had been chosen by lottery and included in the post-election review for the 2024 election cycle. And the referral was based on audit findings by commission staff that the committee had deposited $495 into a bank account on January 9th after the election, and that the committee had paid $1,000 to the West Haven Democratic Town Committee on February 8th, 2025 after the election. Based on this investigation and working with the respondent who was cooperative, provided detailed statements as well as documentation regarding those two audit findings and the subject of this investigation. It was determined that this committee that had participated in the CEP was therefore prohibited from making a contribution to a party committee. By way of explanation, the committee had made this $1,000 contribution after the election, and the treasurer believed they were just being supportive of the town committee who had shared office space with them throughout the campaign. And the second issue with regard to the $495 in cash, basically the explanation, which was backed up by our records, was that the committee had received cash contributions in small dollar amounts during the beginning of the election as it worked towards qualifying for a grant. Those were all disclosed, so the aggregate amount of $495 as it came in was disclosed on ECRIS reporting system to disclose the receipt of contributions. However, the treasurer respondent Lee admitted that he didn't deposit them, so he ended up having this bucket of contributions that, while they were disclosed and reported, were not deposited within 20 days as required by 9-606A. And again, by making that payment to the West Haven Democratic Town Committee, the committee or the treasurer did not follow the requirements of 9-607 regarding permissible expenditures, as well as the regs 9-706 and 9-7062. The agreement before you is signed. We've had a payment of $500 to resolve this matter, and the respondent, Patrick Lee, agrees that he will strictly comply with General Statutes 9-606A, 9-607, and regulations of Connecticut state agencies 9-7062. This with regard to both the payment of $1,000 and the $495 deposit of cash after the election. I ask that this matter, that this consent agreement be adopted.
Any questions or comments for Attorney Smith? Yes, Commissioner Pietzo.
I'm going to support this matter. Thank you, Council. I just had a question as to whether or not the town committee has disgorged the payment.
The town committee has not disgorged this payment.
Okay.
Does that raise any kind of legal impediment to proceeding?
Not to me.
So,
we can.
I'm sorry.
Not for me. It's perhaps a tangential matter, but I'll let Council address your question as well, of course.
Not in the context of the audit referral, which was based on the predicate of addressing the two audit findings. If should the commission wish to pursue other issues that arise during any of your investigations, we can certainly expand them, or we can look to get that compliance based on a request from staff to the town committee. But no, these were not identified as respondents, and this was not identified as part of a predicate for this investigation.
All right, any other questions or comments for the attorney? All right, none appearing. What we have before us is with respect to file number 2025-068, a recommendation of council that the matter be resolved by the respondent, Patrick Lay, paying a $500 civil penalty and also agreeing to a henceforth order. Is it moved?
Move Pietza.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. Those in favor of the motion will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I'm going to abstain, Steve, just due to my work with the city of West Haven.
Right? Then the motion carries with 4 voting in favor, none opposed, 1 abstention, that being Commissioner Agello. Next item on the agenda, number 2, file number 2025-135A and 2025-135B. And that would be Attorney Borelli, please.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Staff Attorney Mario Borelli for the Commission. This matter is a referral from the Secretary of the State. The respondents are Mary Jolene Bowers, the Democratic Registrar of Voters for the town of Scotland, and Mary St. Pierre, a resident of Scotland. This matter stems from an incident on October 29th, 2025, when Ms. St. Pierre went to the town hall to pay a bill and was encouraged to cast an early vote. During the early voting period, despite being pressed for time, she said she would do so, but then encountered difficulties with the tabulator machine, and as a result became frustrated, ripped up her ballot and left. Respondent Bowers contacted the lead at the Secretary of State's office, asking if she could essentially mark Ms. St. Pierre as not having voted, and was advised by the Secretary of the State's office that no, this should be treated as a fleeing elector, and she should be considered as having already voted. Nevertheless, it was later discovered that Registrar Bowers either deleted or never entered Ms. St. Pierre into CVRS as having voted in the November 2025 election. Before you, or a consent order, which is for 135B for Registrar Bowers, and a notice of dismissal as to Respondent St. Pierre. The dismissal for Ms. St. Pierre because there was no evidence that she ever attempted to cast a second vote in the election. And then with respect to Registrar Bowers, she agrees in the consent order to strictly comply with General Statutes 950B, which requires registrars no later than 60 days after each election or primary to update the statewide centralized voter registration system with voter data for that election. Therefore, we are requesting that the Commission adopt the consent order and the notice of dismissal as presented.
All right, any questions or comments for Attorney Borelli? None appearing. With respect to file number 2025-135A, it is the recommendation of council that the complaint against the respondent be dismissed. Is it moved?
Move Pietza.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. Those in favor of the dismissal of this complaint will raise their hands and or say aye. Aye. Yes.
So just to clarify, there's two. 135A is the dismissal and 135B.
Yes, I'm voting on A
consent.
and I'm going to vote on B next.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So A, those voting in favor of 2025-135A dismissal of the complaint, raise their hands and or say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? None appearing. The complaint is dismissed accordingly with a vote of 5 in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. All right, the next item is 2025-135B. Recommendation of council is that the respondent submit to a consent order and henceforth comply with the statutes. Is there a motion to that effect?
So move Pietza. I apologize.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. Those in favor of the motion will raise, with including a henceforth order, will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the motion carries with 5 voting in favor. None opposed, no abstentions. All right, we have some matters to discuss in executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved, Pietsu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Those in favor of going into executive session, will raise their hands and or say aye. Aye. Motion carries, and we will do so.
Mr. Chairman, we are now in the public session. Thank you.
All right, so the commission is now in public session. There was an executive session in which no decisions were made. We're going to be going over nearly all of those matters. That is to say, those that are not continued today, we will be discussing in public session, and we're about to start that right now. Item 1 on the executive session agenda is continued. Item 2 is file number 2026-025. Attorney Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Attorney William Smith for the commission. Before you is in the matter of a complaint by Martin T. Weiss, Woodstock, file number 2026-025. The allegation was that a candidate, Ethan Wursler, candidate for state senate for the 35th district in the 2026 election cycle, violated the law regarding lobbyists and the sessional ban for lobbyists soliciting contributions. After investigation, the commission determines that Mr. Wursler received advice from commission staff prior to these events. And after review of this matter and consistent with both commission precedent as well as Green Party of Connecticut versus Garfield, the commission finds that a lobbyist may solicit contributions for their own campaign for public office when they are a candidate, and therefore dismisses this matter. Before you is a notice of dismissal, and I'm asking at this time that this be adopted.
All right, any questions or comments for council? None appearing, and as a recommendation of council with respect to file number 2026-025, that the matter be concluded by issuance of a notice of dismissal. Is it moved?
Move, Pietsu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the motion carries with 5 voting in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Next item on the agenda is file number 2026-008. Attorney Ross.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Staff Attorney Johnny Ross for the record. In the matter of SEEC file 2023-088 before the commission today is a notice of dismissal. The complaint alleges that Michael Cassell violated General Statutes 9-410(c) by circulating a nomination petition page with a fraudulent signature. After an investigation, the commission can make a determination that there's insufficient evidence to establish a violation had occurred by the respondent. Based on that, it is the recommendation of council that the commission adopts the notice of dismissal.
All right, any questions or comments for council? None appearing, with respect to file number 2026-008 is the recommendation of council that the complaint in the matter be dismissed. Is it moved?
Move, Pietsu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion to dismiss will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the motion carries with 5 voting in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Item 4 on the agenda, files numbers 2025-061A and 2025-107A. Attorney Ross.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, but before we begin, I just want to address the issue of a potential recusal, raise that to the commission, and before we get into it.
And that was Commissioner Jello.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. We are ready with the recusal room.
Very good, thank you.
Commissioner Jello has now been recused. Thank you.
Thank you. Attorney Ross.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before the commission today is a consent order. The consent order concerns Frederick Jury, who's a former registered voter in the town of Torrington. The respondent has signed the consent order along with Executive Director Ryan Burns. In signing the consent order, the respondent has agreed that he violated General Statutes 9-192 by allowing and directing respondent Melissa Russell to perform statutory duties reserved to the ROVs without her being a duly appointed and qualified deputy or assistant registers. Also, in signing that consent order, the respondent has agreed that he violated General Statutes 9-32 by not completing an annual canvass of registered voters on or before May 1st, 2025. The order page calls for the respondent to henceforth strictly comply with the statutes that were violated. It is the recommendation of council that the commission adopts this consent order. Thank you.
All right, any questions or comments for council? None appearing with respect to files numbers 2025-061A and 2025-107A. It is the recommendation of council that the matter be resolved by way of a henceforth order. The respondent has complied with that approach and has signed off on this order. Is there a motion to adopt the order recommended by council?
Move Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion will raise their hands and or say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the motion carries with 4 voting in favor, none opposed, 1 abstention. And would you invite, please, Commissioner Jello back?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, one moment, please. And Commissioner Agello is now back with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on this agenda is item number 5, file number 2024-073. Attorney Jaslowicki.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Zach Jaslowicki for the commission. Commission received a referral from the Secretary of the State. The underlying complaint, which was initially submitted by Fight Voter Fraud Incorporated, alleged that over 500 deceased electors in Connecticut potentially remain on voter registry lists, and that some deceased electors had voting histories that postdated their reported date of death. After a thorough investigation, the commission can find that there is insufficient evidence to establish that any voter noted in the complaint voted in the name of a deceased individual. Council recommends that the notice of dismissal be adopted. Council would also recommend notifying registrars of potential voter registry issues.
All right, any questions or comments for council? All right, with respect to file number 2024-073, it is a recommendation of council that the matter be dismissed. However, it is also a recommendation of council with respect to file number 2024-073 that we should adopt a motion to authorize the staff of the agency to notify by mail the 56 municipal registrars' offices of the potential of deceased electors on their voter registries and conduct the registrars of their duty to remove those individuals. Is there a motion to take that action and also to adopt the notice of dismissal?
So moved Pietzi.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion, both motions, will raise their hand and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the motion carries with 5 voting in favor and none opposed, no abstentions. Item 6 on the agenda, file number 2025-064. Attorney Jaslowicki.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Zach Jaslowicki for the commission. This complaint is based upon an affidavit of a former Ansonia city employee. The affiant states that during past election cycles, he was asked to work on campaigns for Republican candidates, and that this work was done in City Hall during regular working hours using city resources, and that efforts were made to conceal the activities. After investigation, the commission can find that there's insufficient evidence to find a violation of law within the commission's jurisdiction based upon the allegations contained in the complaint. And based on the foregoing, council recommends that the commission adopt the notice of dismissal, dismissing this matter without prejudice.
All right, any questions or comments for council? None appearing with respect to file number 2025-064. It is the recommendation of council that the matter be disposed of by issuance of a notice of dismissal without prejudice. Is it moved?
Move Pietsu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the motion carries with 5 voting in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Item 7 on the agenda, file number 2025-074, Attorney Jaslowicki.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Zach Jaslowicki for the commission. It's a referral from the Greenwich Registrar of Voters alleging that the respondent registered to vote and subsequently voted multiple times using a Greenwich address at which he no longer lived. Commission completed an investigation into the allegations of the referral. Nothing in the investigation revealed that the respondent voted in an election or in a district in which he was not eligible. So based upon this investigation, council recommends that the commission decline to further pursue this matter and order that it be dismissed.
All right, any questions or comments for council? None appearing with respect to file number 2025-074, it is a recommendation of council that the matter be dismissed. Is it moved?
Move Pietsu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the motion carries with 5 voting in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Item 8 on the agenda, file number 2025-089, Attorney Jaslowicki.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Zach Jaslowicki for the commission. This complaint was brought by the town manager for Bloomfield, alleging that the respondent, a councilman for the town of Bloomfield, is not a bona fide resident of Bloomfield pursuant to General Statutes 9-12 and therefore violated multiple Title IX general statutes by participating in Bloomfield elections when he was ineligible to do so. The commission has completed its investigation into the allegations of the complaint. As a result of its investigation and the commission's established factored analysis for determining bona fide residency, the commission can find that the evidence does not support the allegations. And based on this finding, council recommends that the commission adopt the notice of dismissal and close this matter.
All right, any questions or comments for council? None appearing with respect to file number 2025-089 is the recommendation of council that the matter be dismissed as the evidence collected does not support the allegation. Is it moved?
Move Pietsu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of the motion will raise their hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the motion carries with 5 voting in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Next item on the agenda is continued. That would be file number 2025-047. Next is file number 2025-096, Attorney Jaslowicki.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Zach Jaslowicki for the commission. This complaint alleges that the respondent, Clerk of Watertown, misrepresented absentee ballot requirements and allowed 2 electors to vote by absentee ballot at a referendum in Watertown, despite their ineligibility, which would be a violation of General Statutes 9-135B. Based upon the commission's investigation into the matter, there is inconclusive evidence to establish that the respondent misrepresented absentee ballot eligibility requirements to the electors pursuant to 9-135B. Similarly, the evidence does not establish that the respondent nor her assistant were required to sign the absentee ballot applications as assisters pursuant to General Statutes 9-140. The commission would also acknowledge the passage of Public Act 2642, which in relevant part has created no excuse absentee balloting in Connecticut and eliminating the eligibility requirements of 9-135A. So based on the foregoing, council would recommend the commission adopt this notice of dismissal and close the matter.
All right, any questions or comments for council? None appearing with respect to file number 2025-096, it is a recommendation of council that the matter be disposed of by notice of dismissal on the basis that there is insufficient evidence to support the complaint. Is it moved?
Move Pietsu.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing, those in favor of dismissing the case may please raise your hands and or say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing, the motion carries with 5 voting in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Item 11 on this agenda, file number 2025-098, Attorney Borelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Attorney Mario Borelli for the commission. This is a matter of a complaint by Edward Sabatino, a resident of East Haven, Connecticut. The respondents are Anthony Camposano, a candidate for mayor of East Haven in the 2025 election, and Angela Driver, who was the treasurer of his candidate committee, Camposano 2025. The complainant alleged a failure to report several in-kind contributions and/or expenditures by the committee relating to a number of items. After investigation by the commission can conclude that all of the various alleged items fell within exemptions to the definition of contribution under General Statutes 9-607A, with the exception of one pizza that was brought to a fundraising event. With respect to that item, however, council would still recommend dismissal as it was an item of minimal value. And under the circumstances, an outdoor fundraiser event was brought without the knowledge of the treasurer that it was there, or as to who had brought in the pizza. Therefore, based upon the foregoing, we would ask that the commission adopt the notice of dismissal for this matter that is before you.
All right, any questions or comments for council? None appearing. With respect to file number 2025-098 is the recommendation of council that the matter be resolved by issuance of a notice of dismissal on the basis that there's insufficient evidence to suggest that there was a violation of the law. Is it moved?
Move Pietza.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? None appearing. Those in favor of the motion will raise their hands and/or say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? None appearing. The motion carries with 5 voting in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Item 12 on the agenda, file number 2026-041 is continued. Are there any other matters to come before the commission at this time? Apparently not. And so thank you, everyone. And we will stand adjourned. Our next meeting is not July 2nd. Do we have a date that we can announce?
July 9th,
July 9th. Okay.
July 9th at 3:30.
3:30.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Goodbye, everybody. Oh, no, we have to motion to adjourn. Is it moved?
Move to adjourn Pietza.
Second Berquist.
Moved and seconded. Those in favor of adjournment will raise their hands and/or say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We stand
Aye.
adjourned. Motion carries.
Thank you.